This world is beyond cruelty. You've been fighting the Harkonnens for decades. My family's been fighting them for centuries. They were massacred alongside my father.
Your father didn't believe in revenge.
Hello, in this video I want to review the new Dune movie. Okay, let me start by saying that from a purely visual perspective, it is a fascinating movie. It's a brilliant movie. The Harkonnen scenes are my favorite scenes on the Harkonnen planet, Gidi Prime, especially the Fade Rutha scenes in the arena. They managed to capture the trippy atmosphere that the original Dune movie, done by David Lynch, actually had. And the trippy psychedelic atmosphere is actually my favorite part about the Dune series generally, both about the books and about the Lynch movie and about this movie also to an extent. So I definitely recommend you to check out this movie, although the ending was the most problematic thing for me. But if you don't want anything spoiled, then just go watch this movie. But now to tell you something about the ending and about the spoilers in this movie. Okay, now what I didn't like about the ending is that it ends on a cliffhanger. It ends with Paul Atreides becoming essentially the heir to the Emperor, as he becomes in the books. But here, unlike in the books, there is one crucial difference between the books and between the movie. In the books, all the great houses accept Paul as the new emperor simply because he controls spies, because he is now married into the emperor's family, which historically is how feudal relationships between families worked. The Habsburgs, for example, are an example of a feudal house that became extremely powerful just by marrying the right people. They didn't even have to conquer that much. So yeah, I find it very believable that in the books the entire galaxy, at least for a while, accepts Paul as their new emperor. And in that way, both the first book and the David Lynch's movie, they end on a satisfying note. They end in a way in which they are like a cohesive movie. They end in a way that makes you say, well, okay, this is a good ending, and there is still room for more, but it's not necessary. While this movie ends with Paul pretty much declaring the Holy War. That is the biggest difference between the Lynch version and between Denis Villeneuve version. And I have to admit that I personally prefer the ending of the David Lynch movie and the ending that was also present in the books. But if part 3 is going to be made, and please tell me in the comment section if you know anything about part 3, then I actually don't have that much of a problem with the ending that we were presented in Dune part 2. And let me also emphasize one other crucial difference between the Lynch movie and between this movie. So this movie actually has a very anti-dogmatic, almost anti-religious tone to it, and I'm actually mostly even agree with its message. It's anti-messianic figures, it's anti-cult of personality. The message of this movie seems to be that religion and dogmatism and glorification of figures of great leaders can very easily lead to fanatical violence and just pointless war. And I agree with the message. And so the plot twist in this movie seemed to be, from a perspective of somebody that actually read the books and watched the Lynch movie, is that this movie, at least in my opinion, and tell me in the comment section if you think I'm wrong, this movie heavily implies that the entire prophecy is actually fake, and that Paul's mother and the Bene Gesserit are purposely manipulating people into believing in the prophecy. Now, that was at least my interpretation of this movie, while the plot twist in the David Lynch movie seemed to be that the prophecy actually is real. And I do remember watching the David Lynch movie and thinking, okay, this is really an epic ending. It is almost as if I just watched the holy books from another civilization in front of me. Well, as far as I understand the books actually never answer this pretty important question: is the prophecy real, or has the entire prophecy been manipulated into actually happening? And what's interesting is that David Lynch and Denis Villeneuve seem to have two opposite interpretations of that problem. Is the prophecy real, or is it just manipulated? And while I actually agree with the message of Denis Villeneuve, I actually found the David Lynch interpretation more satisfying. Well, it is more of a cliche, that is David Lynch's interpretation. It works. It provides a really satisfying ending, and cliches do exist for a reason. That is also something that I think people these days don't really get. Cliches are not bad. Cliches actually do work. So yeah, just subverting cliches is not always good. And if part 3 is going to be made, then I actually don't have that much of a problem with the ending of this movie. Yeah, and so part 3 would definitely make this a much better ending, and I do hope there is part 3, but honestly I haven't really heard that this was supposed to be a trilogy. And I do still, even if it is going to be a trilogy, I still have one problem with the ending, and that is, why is it that all the great houses decline to acknowledge Paul as the emperor? I see no clear reason for them to refuse to acknowledge him. After all, he is from the house Atreides, a very respectable house. He just won in a fair duel against the Harkonnens. He is now married to the daughter's emperor, to the daughter of the emperor. So yeah, I really don't get why did all the great houses refuse? Not to mention that he controls the spice, so it is not wise for them to refuse. Yeah, but all in all, I would definitely recommend you to see this movie. And yeah, I do find it interesting that David Lynch and Denis Villeneuve had such different interpretations of what was left ambiguous in the books. Okay, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more videos like this.